Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Steve Martin, and today I'm going to be doing a brief walkthrough on my 2021 Hobie PA14. Set this up to run a bow mount XI3 off the front as well as live scope. Something I really wanted to do when setting my kayak up was I didn't want to drill any holes through the hull itself. I wanted to show you all how I did it in case anybody wanted to do something similar. Maybe give some ideas on how to set theirs up using both live scope and the XI3 without having to drill any holes into the hull of the kayak itself. If you have any comments, please leave them. Any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. When I originally ordered this kayak back in, I think it was May or April of 2021, I knew it was going to be a little bit of time before I got it in, so I had several months to kind of figure out how I wanted everything placed and that sort of thing, try to come up with some solutions to get it laid out exactly how I wanted, and I think it's turned out pretty well. So again, hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions. So starting off here, I'm just gonna kind of walk it through real quick, and then I'll have to take some stuff off and show you how I wired different things and stuff like that. But starting at the front here, we have our bow mount XI3 with the spot lock. Again, I didn't want to drill any holes into the hull, so this is actually on the front hatch cover. Be a lot easier to replace this versus the hull. That was kind of my thinking. Honestly, it turned out really great. I'm using the 70 amp Marinco plugs. Just screws right in there. These are the 10 gauge wires that came with the XI3. Never had any issues with this whatsoever. I would highly recommend them. Using the one objective mount here, as you can see. I did add a little washer here because there's a little bit of play with that handle there. Turned out pretty good. One thing I do like about the one objective is it does have this little handle here, and I do use that. I don't put a lot of stress on it, but if I need to move my kayak for a brief moment when I've got stuff on here, it's just a quick, easy spot to grab. Regarding navigation lights, these I picked up on Amazon. Super quick, easy, and cheap. I was gonna put the Yak Power lights on here, and as you'll see in a minute, I do have the Yak Power set up. But again, I didn't want to drill any holes, and honestly, these work just fine. I can reach up here, turn these off when I don't need them, or after I'm required to have them. Net goes right here, which is perfect actually. Whenever this is deployed, then it's not in the way, and even right now it's not in the way. I can still grab my net, no issues there. This is the kit from On the Water Innovations, just their little lever release kit or whatever. I added this little carabiner here so that I can take it on and off and not have it in the way when I don't need it, and then it just runs up alongside there. Again, I have not had any issues with this whatsoever. Just grab this, pull that, falls down perfect. I actually really like the way that turned out. Again, on the other side, I've got this is the pull cord to pull it up, lower it down. Again, works perfect how I want it to. I did add some moldable glue here, just to kind of prevent water getting in there. I've taken these off, the rod tubes, siliconed them. They work pretty well. Moving to the seat, we've got a kayak cushion. Those things are pretty nice if you haven't looked into them yet. Regarding plastic storage, I usually grab 2 of these, throw them underneath here, and they work out pretty well for me. I'll show you the hatch here. Added this, I think it's One Objective makes this. It's actually made for spinner baits, but it's just a good little divider. I can keep lights, my ID tag in there. These things are nice. This little TKI CNC bracket holder or whatever. I've seen people break that plastic off the back there, so those are handy to have. Got a fish scale, got leader line, spare line, live scope. So I'm using the Fish Obsessed, I think that's what it is, their Dominator mount. So I can switch between perspective mode and their forward-facing mode pretty easily there. It's a pretty nice little mount. I've used a couple different mounts, and that's by far my favorite. I'll show you on the live scope itself. Fishfindermounts.com makes this little sticker that goes on the transducer itself to tell you what mode you need to or where you need to line up the lines to be in a certain mode. Right now it's in forward mode if it's on the port side, which is what it's on. I've seen several people recently using these Fishing Specialties pole mounts, and I've got to say they are the best that I've used. I've used the Fishfinder Mounts one, which is actually more expensive than this, and I did not care for it nearly as much as this. It just turns so much easier. The wires are protected within the rod tube, or the tube itself. And then regarding the live scope wire, I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen it, but it's pretty big. I actually have the older style now. It's just one single wire coming out there, but there's two wires there. What I did to do that was I ran it through my rod tube and actually lost the function of one of my rod tubes when I'm using it, which I can still take the live scope off, but honestly it's out of the way and stores perfect on the rod holder here, and I strap it down like that and it doesn't go anywhere. Handle's not in the way on my legs or anything like that, and if I'm on the river or somewhere where I'm not going to use it, it just goes on the side there and I don't even notice it's there, which is nice. So I'll probably never take it off unless I'm traveling and worried about someone coming to mess with it or something like that. But just run the wires through there, and I'll show you here in a minute how I have it cut out in there. Alright, moving back, another little rod tube, but I've got my crate here. I think everybody's seen these, so I'm not going to go over this real in depth, but holds several 3700 tackle boxes through this on here. This is actually where I put my terminal tackle, put my waters in here. Got them strapped down. Now back to my battery. I've got a 100 amp hour amp battery that's running my Xi3. Again, I didn't want to drill any holes through the hole, so we actually have it through the rear hatch here. I've got again a 70 amp Marinco plug. Runs perfect through there. Just plug it in and turn on your fuse, and she's good to go. This is my main camera mount right here, just for an over-the-shoulder view. Really like that. This year I'm going to be running a Garmin 106 SV Ultra, or the EcoMap 106 SV Ultra. Really like it. Been out with it once, and pretty good upgrade over the 93 UHD that I was running. I want to be able to turn off the live scope when I don't need it. That's kind of not a must-have, but it's really nice to have it. On my old kayak setup, I had that, so instead of drilling holes, having an on-off switch or anything like that exposed, I ended up going with the Yak Power wireless. 5 different channels on there, or 5 different on-off switches. Pretty easy to use though. Number 2 is my live scope. Just turn that on when I want it. Takes it a few seconds to turn on, and then it's ready to go. But I can also turn it off pretty easily right there, and now it's off. Same with my fish finder, which is really nice. All right, next I want to show you how I did the wiring and everything for both my fish finder, my trolling motor, and the live scope. So starting off here, I've got my front hatch open. As you can see, this is where the plug is for the Marinco 70 amp hour plug. I'm running 6 gauge wire, marine grade wire, all the way from the front to the rear. I ended up going 6 gauge out. It might be overkill, I really don't know, but that's what I wanted to do and not have to worry about it. So I did get rid of my front hatch. You can actually still run this with the front hatch. Don't have it up here, but basically just cut out a little insert for the 6 gauge wire to run through, and then had a notch in it so that I could take it on and off whenever I needed to or wanted to, but ended up taking it out of there. This is really all I need the front hatch for. Is this stuff. It's just an emergency first aid kit, a couple other minor things that I might need, but don't really use often. So just threw that in there to have. I'm using the Tim Percy mounting plate. I've got my live scope black box, as you can see there, and over here I've got my Yak Power wireless cords. Plugs into the power again back to the battery that's right here. Now to run the live scope wire, what I did was I drilled out a hole here. I can't remember the exact width that I did on that. It's probably like 1.5 inches, but works perfect. Out of the way. If I ever for whatever reason want to replace that, fix that, I can just buy a new rod tube, throw it in there, and it's fixed, and I don't have to worry about covering a hole on the kayak itself. Same thing here with the front hatch. I can just, if I ever want to do something different, I can just replace this front hatch, but I really don't even see me ever doing that. So wires are great. I don't actually have any interference. Last time I was out, didn't have any interference from trolling motor wire or anything like that, which was awesome. Here's a little something that I did for when I don't want to run a trolling motor. Say I'm on a river or something like that, and I still want to run my Anchor Wizard. I ended up buying an extra quick release hatch here for my, or quick release mount for the XI3. Screwed on the chute up here for my Anchor Wizard. Run the line back here. These are just on Yak Attack Mighty mounts. I can just pop it off there when I don't need it. It goes on there in under a minute. And here's how my wires plug into the back here. You got to be pretty precise. I didn't really think about this when I installed it, but I forgot about this big rudder thing here. Ended up being just about perfect. I can run my negative or positive wire on one side and negative wire on the other side, and works great. So don't have any issues with that, but you do have to kind of get that perfect, that hole drilled right there. Again, if I ever want to go another route, all I need to do is replace this, and that's it. So, all right, I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, anything at all. Ways to improve this, anything you've done that can make this even better. I'd be happy to hear that, and look forward to fishing in 2022. Thanks.